We welcome Mbong Aki-Fakwa Tafok to the program. She is head of communications for Greenpeace Africa and joins us via phone from the conference in Sharm el-Sheikh. Thank you so much for your time. I want to start just by asking, what is your overall stance on the conference and African leaders' participation?
Well, as it stands, we're quite sadly disappointed with the fact that the African delegation is rigorously pursuing more gas and oil deals at Sharm el-Sheikh, whilst at the same time asking for a loan and damage facility to be put in place, and of course rightly demanding that the richer economies should be able to deliver on their climate pledges. So we find the contradiction a little bit disturbing. Otherwise, we're quite hopeful that as we move into the next week of the talks, we would see more leadership coming through in terms of the different parties agreeing to at least the establishment of a loss and damage facility while making bolder commitments towards delivering on the 1.5-degree target.
And what would that leadership look like to you when it comes to the loss and damage? This is a term that's also sometimes called climate reparations. Well,
I think at this point it would be far-fetched to expect that anything would be finalized. But just the simple agreement on the kind of mechanism, acknowledging the need for this to be put in place and for the technicalities to be worked out in future, would already be something that would be an achievement in Sharm el-Sheikh. So that's the kind of leadership we're hoping to see. I know that the African delegation is definitely pushing for this, but whether or not the other parties are coming to the table is what we're looking out to see in the next coming days.
Okay. I want to go back to what we were speaking of with some African nations, both working with gas companies such as Shell, BP, and Total, while also touting renewable energy output. One of your colleagues actually wrote about this topic this week for globalcitizen.org, and in the piece called out South Africa, Mozambique, and the DRC, among others. But my question is it reasonable to expect that leaders would pass up the economic opportunities that these oil and gas projects could potentially bring to their countries?
I think the bigger question is, who are these economic opportunities aimed to service? Because we've only seen this rush and this scramble for Africa at this point because of the necessity to service the needs of the European countries that are feeling the need for fuel to service the needs for winter. It is not really meant to service the needs of Africans, and that is the bigger question. There are 600 million Africans that are living in energy poverty at the moment, and we haven't seen such a rush happen because their need for energy needs to be serviced. And for us, that is where the fundamental problems lie. That the scramble for Africa shouldn't always be about meeting the needs of the richer economies. It can be about Africa's people. And if we're looking at it from the lens of Africa's people, what do we really need for them? I think decentralized energy, clean energy is what they need, because African economies largely depend on economic activities that are in sync with nature. They need their environment to be clean. They need their farmlands to be healthy. They need the oceans to be healthy. So all of this rush, this dash for African gas and oil is definitely not for the servicing the need of Africans. And that is where the problem is. And we want to see Africans really stand up, our leadership and the delegation in Sharm el-Sheikh, doing the right thing for Africa's people and not just for the next economic gain, which would only service the need of a few elites.
And so quickly, I just want to ask, do you expect anything good to come out of the conference? Do you think that there will end up being some progress on climate reparations?
We're hopeful. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We're hoping that some kind of a fund or a facility would be established, or a decision at least would be reached here in Sharm el-Sheikh about the establishment of such a facility. The truth is, the lives and livelihoods of many has been disrupted, stolen by climate change all across Africa and other parts of the world, as well as we're seeing now with the floods in Pakistan as well. And this kind of reparation is really critical in terms of rebuilding trust in the process. A facility like this will rebuild trust in the process. And of course, it would only be also complemented with the richer economies really meeting up the initial pledges as far as the climate fund goes.
Mbangaki Fakwa Tafak, thank you so much for joining us here on the program. Appreciate your time.